Hey, welcome to For the Story, the podcast that counts as getting laid. Your dad was wrong. You're not a virgin. Ooh. I'm Ash.
And I'm Avery, and that's right. We're all getting laid on this podcast tonight. Am I right? All in a clap sound effect.
I take it back.
You know, like how... Okay, so just for a little story, we were on Get Soft with Dr. Snuggles. Our good friend Alistair hosts a show, and he does a great job along with his wife, Siobhan.
Wife-to-be, Siobhan.
Oh.
Yeah, they actually postponed the wedding.
Oh, that's right. We
year.
did discuss that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Anyway, we were on their podcast. They put on a great show. They review softcore porn films. We've been friends with them. We go way back. And they like to add this little clap sound effect in all the time. And I couldn't resist but clapping every time. It just made me so happy.
Oh, yeah. You were very into it.
I loved clapping, man. It's so great.
Yeah.
It's just nice to feel. And I thought that other people were clapping with me, too, because I heard the noise.
Wow, you should have been paying more attention.
Who are you?
Huh? Yeah, so keep an eye out for that. We helped him review Famalians 2.
Famalian 2. We made the joke that it should have been called Famalians, because that makes
two
sense.
Famalians,
Two aliens.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and
Tokyo Drift, Afterlife, Resurrection.
They put on a great show. If you guys want to go check them out again, they're called Get Soft with Dr. Snuggles. Seriously, they do all sorts of good stuff. They're really nice people. We love them.
Wonderful.
We're hoping to have Alistair and Siobhan on soon. I keep saying her name wrong. Siobhan? Okay, cool. I'm so sorry. I feel bad.
Why are you apologizing to me?
Because they might hear it. You never know.
You never know.
People.
But you're looking at me while you're apologizing.
Yeah, I'm just terrible with names, and I forget my own name if I didn't have it written down in my underwear.
Yeah. Wow. Just not like a memento style tattoo across your chest backwards, like
but backwards because I have to see it in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's nothing like that.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
That's fine, I guess. We'll be on. I don't know when it's coming out, but we're hoping to get them on our episode where we review the greatest movie of all time, Christian Mingle.
That's right. That's the goal. We can't make any promises yet. They said tentatively that they'd like to be on the show.
Yes.
So we'll see if we can get them on. If not, then that's how it goes. But we'll also definitely be making a post when their episode for Famalian 2 goes out. So keep an eye out for that on our Instagram, For the Story Podcast, or at For the Story Podcast, right?
Yeah.
And then and also on our Facebook if you guys follow us there, For the Story.
Yeah, if you're 90.
If you're over 1,000 years old. So
also, while you're checking out Get Soft with Dr. Snuggles, you may want to rate them 5 stars on iTunes. And while you're there, do it for us.
Yeah, it really helps us out.
We got you there.
It's cool.
Even if you hate this episode, we got you to another podcast that maybe you like.
Yeah, maybe more than us. If you like them more, then you can stop listening to us.
Well,
how about
that? They can't break contract, Avery. My lawyers are very litigious, and other words to describe lawyers.
Wow, litigious is a very
greedy,
lawyery,
if you will.
So that's basically what we've been up to this week, other than watching an unholy amount of unholy movies.
Yeah,
that's right. We watched a ton of exorcism movies, Ash.
I got into a thing. Avery slept in, and I got a going on the films.
Dude, I was worried about you.
Yeah, because I watched 5 exorcism films in 2 days.
I thought you were going to turn that around on me and be like, no, but I was worried about you because you slept in until 5 p.m. 3 days in a row. It's been weird, okay? Quarantine's been strange. I've reverted to this extremely nocturnal lifestyle. I have a serious vitamin D deficiency. Please send help.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, I just caught him taking a nap in a sunbeam like a cat the other day.
It was amazing. Let me tell you, my cat was there. Just a bunch of cats, dude.
Just a bunch of... I live with so many cats. I live with the cast of cats.
Yes, you do. It's 100% correct. It's getting worse, too. I now have a mustache. I know you can't hear it, or maybe you can hear it.
It's hard to look at.
Yeah,
It's not hard to look at. It's a lot of looking at it right
alarming
now.
To look at it. That's right. We have one microphone. Yeah. Anyway.
We technically have 2, but one of them is not at the
used by
homestead.
our good friends Steve and Jeremy. They started doing this live bartender thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Make your hustle.
Yeah, you got to do. They're both like they're craving the bar scene because who wouldn't be? I mean,
and craven as people.
Yeah, it's just
I don't know.
no, they're both super nice, but they're
Sweet boys.
They're bartenders over at Jackalope on the patio, and they're putting this like show together. It's pretty fucking cool. They take shots and then talk about goofy shit. So if I don't know, I don't even know where to send people to find them.
Yeah, no, it seems.
Maybe I'll post a link about it because I know they did the one tonight, and but I'll share one to the For the Story page just because why the hell not?
Yeah, why not?
So yeah, so keep an eye out for that too if you guys want to go and check them out because they're fun. Everyone's working on shit right now. It's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, everyone's hustling.
Yeah, so that's how it goes. But not us. We've been watching a ton of movies.
Oh yeah,
and that's basically it.
Yeah, so we were going to talk a little bit about exorcism movies, a subgenre of horror film that infuriates you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. See, the problem with it is, dude, I was like actually shouting at the TV.
Yeah, you're like, I can't deal with this, dude. I'm like, okay, whatever. Man.
It's just like it starts adding all of this credibility to like priesthood and stuff, which I just find extremely silly because magic isn't real. And so it just gets to that point where
if magic isn't real, why is there a card game?
Okay, different magic, but it always gets to the point where the priest is actually doing something by casting spells at them, like 10 holy damage.
Yeah, but they always lose, and then they have resurrection sickness.
Oh, every single time. But it always like lends this level of credibility. I think The Conjuring nailed it the best, where it was like, instead of him like actually doing an exorcism, he just like put religious iconography around the house and was just like, it kind of pisses him off. Yeah. I was like, okay, that works.
That's kind of what I get out of it, is like, they like will like put on a show.
Yeah.
But it's like they're never out of control.
It's very silly to me. We saw a couple really good ones across. I can't remember the titles of fucking any.
So there was The Last Exorcism, which is the one where he was showing you, like this is how you do it. It was like found footagey, and then The Devil Inside, which was also found footage. Yeah, so The Devil Inside, which was it kind of had the cool concept of like the demon can just jump between people.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
That kept you on your toes a little more than your standard.
Yeah.
We also watched The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yeah, but that was the one where
there was like a courtroom drama slash.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was one of the better ones. What was the one that we watched where it was like the red-haired girl, and she said, and the priest found out she was faking it because she said blowing job.
Oh, that was The Last Exorcism. So that one was the one where it started out with. It started out as a documentary showing like this is how you fake an exorcism, and
which was cool. It started out so cool because the priest in that one was like, he was just like, yeah, I'm a complete fraud. Like I just do this for money.
I use like electrified thumb rings to like zap them and make their bodies move, and I like have a zune with like demon sounds on it.
Yeah.
And then she comes back and she's like actually possessed, and then she's doing all kinds of crazy contortions in the barn, and then she's like, "Do you want a blowing job?"
It's just like. And it's like, oh, you're not a demon because a demon would know what a blowjob really is. It's like the weakest, dumbest crap. It's like everything else about that movie was so good.
It turned out to be a turn where that was like a fake out.
Oh, yeah, it was like a fake out, and then like it comes back and kills everyone. I'm pretty sure is what happened. Spoilers, sorry. Not sure if you wanted to see The Last Exorcism of...
I think there's a second Last Exorcism, and that doesn't make
any sense. That was the second to last exorcism.
It was the penultimate exorcism, which was too long of a title.
So
we had a couple other things. We watched.
It's been a lot of found footage.
We did watch. Well, you watched half of. You like woke up to me watching the Haunting of La Llorona, which not to be confused with a different movie, The Curse of La Llorona.
So this was like a bootleg. I don't even want to call it a bootleg. It was a legitimate movie, but it was probably the worst thing.
It was incredibly.
It was so bad.
But so I don't know if you remember this, but at one point on Netflix they had a rip-off Kung Fu Panda movie called Chop Kick Panda.
Oh, I know what Chop Kick Panda is.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it was the Chop Kick Panda to the Curse of La Llorona.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like to call them watershed movies. It's like, this is like far down the watershed.
Okay.
So there's like the Nexus, right? Which would be the La Llorona movie.
Which is apparently in the Conjuring universe.
Very interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But so like I would say for that, The Conjuring is at the top of the watershed, right? Because that's when like these American horror exorcism type movies started getting really popular. And then after that, you have like the Annabelle series, right? Which is affiliated in some way.
And
or
like The Nun and Curse of La Llorona. But then like this is like...
Then farther down, you have like La Llorona, and then farther down from that, at the bare minimum, like when they're sifting through the mud for something that they can make, you have the movies like The Haunting of La Llorona, which was yikes.
We will end up rewatching that and reviewing it.
I think we should.
Sure.
It was so comically and ridiculously bad.
Oh,
like
man.
It was just like the last act of the movie. The last third was just like she got pregnant, and then now she's like fucking around on the town, and she's drinking while she's pregnant. Then she kills her friend. Then she kills It was just like in the span of 20 minutes, they tried to cram like a whole movie's worth of like back content,
and it was also like an hour 12. Like it was so
too short. Like with another 20 movies, with another 20 minutes.
Exactly, we need 20 more of these.
With another 20 minutes, they could have like taken a breath and like actually delivered some of these ideas.
The Conjurings.
Yeah, exact. Yes.
And Anna Bell, but there's a space in it.
Oh. There's a hyphen.
Yeah. The Noon or a nun.
Nuns. Two nun. Two's.
To Llorona. So I wanted to bring that up, but we did like I'd say probably the crux of everything was exorcisms fed into just
found footage.
Just found footage because they were the best exorcism movies were the found footage ones.
Yeah, for sure.
So we just started going.
Yeah, and the ones that we really got into, we watched Grave Encounters, which I had seen before.
One and two.
Which the first one's like okay, like it's pretty good.
First one I was into.
It had its moments. It had enough length where it could like breathe, and like there was interesting stuff going on, and like there was a lot of crazy paranormal crap, and like the characters were kind of funny and unique. And then the second one spent all this time trying to build it up as like this legitimate documentary, which worked and was cool until they go back to the psychiatric hospital from the first one, and then they crammed like an entire movie's worth of stuff in the last like 30 minutes, and it didn't work.
It did. There were some pretty cool shots in it.
Yeah.
The Ouija board, like where it was just like moving and zipping around the table super fucking fast.
Yeah, it was kind of fun.
That was fun. The table flew up in the air and that was cool.
Yeah.
There were like certain things in that movie where I'm like, oh, the camera's awesome right now.
Yeah.
And then they did like the Chronicle thing, which was bad.
Oh, yeah, where the one guy made the cameras float or something.
And
so
10
basically just so they could shoot a wide shot and could work around, making one of the characters actually hold. But whatever, what can you do? The first one was pretty decent, the second one not so good. We watched one that I want to talk about. It was before I got really drunk that night.
Okay.
The one that was called Found Footage 3D.
Oh, you loved this so much. I was so tepid about it.
And I fucking thought it was the best shit. I love the idea. So it was basically like completely just supposed to be aping on the whole found footage thing. So it was a found footage movie about people who are going to shoot the first found footage in 3D movie.
Yeah.
So it was found footage about people making a found footage movie,
which is already
it's so funny. It's stupid.
3D found footage movie defeats everything.
Yeah.
No one owns a 3D camera.
And it's exactly like, why would someone be filming in 3D? And like the characters even like bring this up. They're just like, but why would I have a 3D camera? And it's so fucking funny. So that was like one of the funniest things that I've seen, because they just like, it knew exactly what it was and it was trying to make fun. There was a couple parts where you could tell that like the director and the writers themselves really didn't like found footage movies.
They like did a bunch of coke and like screamed at the camera about it. Like,
they were just like, why are you watching this crap? Like you, the audience. It's just like, okay, man, like you don't need to get angry about it.
Yeah.
They're fun and really cheap movies.
Yeah. Like, that's part of the fun, is that they are so cheap.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I really liked that one.
Yeah, for me it was like the meta part was fine, but it was kind of like Grave Encounters 2 where it didn't pay off, and the visuals for me
were bad,
and they didn't have the acting chops of that one
it was
guy
up and down
when he was crazy.
Oh my God! The guy that guy was playing Lance Preston, but his real name is Sean Robertson or whatever.
Yeah.
So he just plays himself in that, and the whole idea is they're trying to sell it to you like it's real, and which is totally a fun idea.
Yeah, and it's so making fun of Zach Baggins.
Yeah, oh, absolutely! Like directly at Zach Baggins. Like even in the first Grave Encounters, like all of the shots that they get are exactly like the Ghost Adventures.
Yeah, and just all the like monologues and like have like like just moments ago,
Yeah.
there was a incorporeal force that manipulated the girl's hair.
It's so silly. And like when they pay the gardener off, they're just like, hey, what about like $20? You can make up a ghost story. And and Sean was just like, so you saw a ghost? And he was like, yeah, over there. And then like cut. It was so fucking funny. I love that shit. Yeah, that movie was fucking hilarious to me.
I loved the second one because Avery hated it.
Well, so the thing is that it started off so cool. Well, we already kind of talked about this, but by the last like third, anyway, Sean Robertson himself plays like himself, but he's been trapped in this mental institution for 10 years.
And it's a Nick Cage-esque performance.
Oh my god, it's so ridiculous. He has like this really long bad wig on.
Oh yeah, it's so bad. And he's like, he's somehow overpowering these kids, even though he's been feeding on rats for 9 years.
It's so silly. It was quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
I had a really good time watching him do that. It was like, because the movie was really starting to like kind of get boring. It was just the same thing over again, but with shitty teenagers.
Yeah, and like the whole goal, like I get it. The second movie, they want to show you the monster. It's like how, like between Alien and Aliens, like part of the draw is you get to see more xenomorphs.
Yeah. Kind of, yeah. It's interesting. They wanted to show like I don't know, the whole like boundaries of the hospital were ill enough defined in the first one that I felt like it was like anything could happen.
Yeah,
you know, and that again, I said this so many times to you. The fear of the unknown is what makes something scary. And then in the second one, he like starts to figure out the patterns and stuff, and it makes it more of like a fantasy movie than it really does a horror movie,
but
which is boring.
I think it had the merits of like there were certain things like they'd be walking down the hall and they get separated from someone, and then just a wall would be there, which was a new thing.
Kind of cool, interesting stuff. Yeah.
They did some new things that I thought were really good. And
we liked a lot, specifically when the kids left the building.
Oh, and this was awesome.
They get in their car and drive all the way to the hotel, get in the elevator, and we kind of called it. We totally saw it happen.
Yeah, but it was still awesome. Like, don't get me wrong. It was still good. Like, they get in the elevator, they come down, and it opens up, and they're in the tunnels underneath the hospital. And they all just, like, sink to the ground.
What?
Yeah, they're just so defeated.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah, that was pretty good. And that's right before they find Sean. Is it Sean Robertson? It was something like that.
Yeah. The cat thinks that's the right name.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Thanks for chiming in, buddy. He just wants attention. It's like he knows we're not we're trying to do something, so he has to intervene.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then I guess we'll move on to our next series of movies that slowly ground themselves into the dirt.
We actually watched these before. This was at the beginning of the found footage.
We started Hell House LLC and never finished it.
Yeah.
And we did watch
and then
it before,
we came back to it.
We did watch it before Grave Encounters, but it's 3 movies instead of 2, so it's more significant.
Yeah. And we knew we were going to get through it. So, Hell House LLC, I think I've brought this up on the podcast before, but it's basically a found footage movie where these kids are like in it's like an abandoned hotel. It's like a house.
Hotel
it's like a
hell,
big house. Yeah. And they're putting on this like haunted house thing, but like there's creepy stuff happening, and like the props are like moving around and stuff. And the first one's really kind of cool, like quite fun, if you will. And then the second one was also pretty cool, but that's like about investigative journalists going to see what happened.
Yeah, because the documentary made from the Hell House stuff that was in the first movie, created so much controversy. And that one has some interesting parts, I guess.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of it compared to the third one, because the third one just decided that the audience are morons.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of appreciate it when they just, like, give up everything. Avery just tongue-kissed his cat.
No, he wanted to smell my mouth.
Okay.
There was no tongue to nose contact. Okay?
It was closer than I'm comfortable with. I am facing you right now. That one was kind of interesting. It was when I started going, like it kind of had the same problem as Grave Encounters, where it's like, the clown guy's back.
Yeah.
And, that's the spoopy, and we're gonna when anything's happening, instead of showing you it, the camera's gonna glitch out, which is a problem with all of the found footage movies, in my opinion.
That was something that they definitely used a little too much is every time something spooky happens, ectoplasmic interference cause electronics to go haywire. It's so silly, and it's just
those
an
are
excuse.
Meshuggah lyrics, right?
Oh, probably right.
Ectoplasmic.
And it's just one of those things where it's like they use it as an excuse not to put more effects in there.
Yeah, because like their effects weren't that crazy to begin with.
Yeah, they weren't very good, their computer generated effects, but their practical stuff and like the scares that they got, like just with moving the clown guys around, kind of fucking cool.
But I feel like even like I guess the CGI would be harder to render, but just having someone run away from the scary thing without having to make it glitch the fuck out would look better. Because naturally, like, the camera swings and you're holding this heavy camera and you're running.
It's already going to be disorienting enough.
Yeah, you don't need the extra... Yeah, this is, like, a thing that I'm kind of getting into with these movies.
Yeah, but it happens in every single one of them, too.
Oh,
There's always, like, some electronic glitch or something. So when it came to that third movie, I guess the thing that... I don't know if I really liked it. I like the attempt at trying to go back at what made the first one really good, because they tried to do that, like that's the direction they were going in with that, but after like they got to a point where it just goes so off the rails, and they're trying to say that this guy who's kind of creepy and weird at the beginning is like some kind of, I feel stupid saying it, it's so stupid.
Say it.
They try to make it seem like the guy is an angel and has to close this portal to hell.
Well, okay. They don't make it seem like that. That is literally what happens.
And he sacrifices himself. So they're basically saying that this guy who apparently was behind the scenes pulling the strings the whole time is Jesus. And nope. That's dumb. That's so stupid.
On the positive side for me, I don't think they've ever cast as good of just a Rolodex of kids who seem like theater kids. Like,
oh yeah,
because
they probably were theater kids.
The whole idea was that they were opening a interactive version of the play Faust,
which is silly.
And
also has something. It's also a Jesus thing, like
a little bit.
Yeah,
it's about faith and stuff. And the person who replaced the morning anchor from the last one, like, does a documentary about it and like fucking outs the guy because he's doing weird shit, and like the kids almost die a bunch of times but like don't leave the play for some reason, and then it goes really crazy during play night, and then he, but the big thing for me, the big positives are, number one, they gave up. That was a big one. I think it was called like Portal of Hell or Lake of Fire.
Lake of Fire.
Oh, man.
The third one.
Blake Lively of Fire. Yeah, dude. I really liked that one because it was so... And also they had some really cool new set pieces outside of just the creepiness. Like the white hallway that ended up getting splattered in blood.
I did
was
like
really
that.
Cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's just like, it was so, I don't know, the first one seemed to make more sense. Like, there's always this problem with found footage, where it's like everyone's always like, why the hell are they still holding the camera? And it was addressed in found footage 3D.
There has to be a justification in the third act why the cameras are still on.
Yeah, exactly. And what I liked about Hell House LLC was that at the end of the second act, he's just like, this is it, I'm signing off. The guy Paul who's doing it. And what's cool is the reason that they weren't leaving the Hell House is because they were financially obligated to be there. Right. They were getting paid to be there.
And in the second one, the fact that the house was not letting them out was a weaker version of what we saw in Grave Encounters, because I thought that was much more effective. They eventually get through the front door and then it's another hallway. Like, that was really effective.
Yeah.
The other big con for the third one for me, I keep forgetting what it is. It keeps popping into my head and keeps leaving, and I'm pretty upset about it. Because there was one thing that really... artificial lengthening of the film. It was a movie where they kept like being like, you didn't see the other ones, like, and just showing you. And it was shorter too. It was an hour 24. It was the shortest of the three, and it was probably an hour movie without all like the flashback parts of the documentary, which was pretty bad. That was intolerable.
They kept jumping back.
It
was the weakest of all three of them, I think.
I think that the weakest one is the one that makes you feel good, because it's a horror movie.
Wait, what?
I don't know, man.
But the third one ends with like them all like coming back in the ghost world, and they're all like, ugh, all the people from the first movie.
Yeah, it's hotel heaven now.
We came back to life, and like then they're just like, well, you want to see if there's stuff at the bar?
Yeah, well, no, because he was telling like the angel came in and said, yeah, you guys can't leave. You guys are fucking dead.
He was Jesus.
Yeah.
He saved their souls. Literally, he was Jesus.
Yeah, and the house burnt down.
Yeah. He was literally Jesus.
Very cool. I love a Jesus allegory. You want to talk about the main movie this week?
Yeah, let's do it.
Right, so our main movie this week is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
It's too many words. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I'd never seen this movie before.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, and it's one of those ones that's it's a classic, right? People say it's a classic.
I would say it's definitely a classic. It's a classic that is not touted as a classic, I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like your layman would say it, but like film critics would be like, this isn't Lawrence of Arabia. This isn't Casablanca.
This isn't Macbeth.
Okay.
Is there a Macbeth at it? Anyway, yeah, continue.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was a dish at McDonald's. The Macbeth?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it
it's
was
an
actually.
entire woman named Beth on a sandwich.
Delicious, dude.
Dude, that's special sauce.
So, where are we going to start with this here?
We're going to start with our expectations going into the film. Like, you hadn't seen it. What were you expecting out of it, though?
Honestly, I expected to be pretty bored.
Yeah, you thought it was going to be pretty dry?
I thought it was going to be pretty dry.
We attempted to watch this movie maybe twice before we actually got into it.
Yeah.
And, you perked up a little when you saw Jack Nicholson get on the screen. You're like, he's in it? And then, like, Danny DeVito's in it, too.
Yeah. It's got an incredibly good cast.
Yeah, it's got a really crazy cast.
All of the best people from the 70s, basically.
Yeah.
So.
And Steve Dourif.
Yeah, and Steve Dourif.
In his first, major role.
He's always been, like, a character actor, kind of on the side, but he played Grima Wormtongue in the Lord of the Rings series.
Yep. He was also in Blue Velvet, Dune, Exorcist Part 3.
Yeah, which I have seen.
Of course.
Yeah.
Your favorite genre of film, exorcisms.
No.
You love them. You love to see it, folks.
But, he was very, very good.
Oh,
I think he won an award, didn't he?
He won a Golden Globe and was nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
One of his first movies. Really impressive.
I think it might be his first movie. It said at the bottom in the credits, it said introducing
Steve Dourif.
Steve Dourif, yeah. So it could have been his first one.
Could have been. So
he was very good.
Very good.
But yeah, I expected not a lot. I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
I like Jack Nicholson a lot, but I also am dumb, so I like fast-paced movies. But this movie had a lot of highs, a lot of
longest
lows.
movie we've seen all week, probably.
For sure.
At a 2-hour, 17-minute runtime.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
Yeah.
It's a longer one.
Yeah.
Just in general, that's long for a film.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
That's true.
Yeah.
This is actually the first one.
Yeah. The first Avenger.
No. Like...
Choking man.
Lobotomy man.
Lobotomy man. The lobotomy.
Lobstrosity.
Yeah, so my expectations were like, I haven't seen this in a while. Society's changed. I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about it.
Yeah.
I remember,
which we will talk about.
Yeah, I remember vague parts of it. I remember the lobotomy. Forgot about the suicide. I remember the boat scene.
Yeah.
But other than that, I was kind of like, it'll be kind of a fresh take. I know it's a good movie, and I had a feeling you'd like it once we were able to sit down, concentrate, and
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, there was a lot of, I don't know, it was so lighthearted, like you're kind of seeing this through Jack Nicholson's eyes a little bit, so all of the things that were happening, they kind of had this like whimsy to them that was, and the soundtrack certainly helped. That it was fun. It was like they're crazy people, but they're happy, and sometimes crazy people can be happy, and I like that a lot too. But we will definitely get that into that in our pros and cons. But Yeah, so yeah, it's weird. So we both kind of had different expectations.
Definitely.
Like kind of back and forth in that way. I really thought I was going to be bored.
Yeah.
And
especially you look at that runtime and you go, okay, this movie's from like 1970.
Yeah, it's like it's old, it's really fucking long. I'm going to lose interest halfway through.
Yeah.
And my interest only gained throughout the movie, which is good. I was fully drawn in by the second act.
Yeah, yeah. So. That great ensemble cast. But before we get into all these great things about this movie,
do it. Let's talk some budget.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So what do we got here?
Okay. This film cost $4.5 million. That was their production budget.
That's a lot in 75.
A lot.
That's what was that? That's probably like 25 million.
I would say in that range.
Yeah, give or take.
Give or take.
So that's interesting. That's pretty cheap.
Pretty cheap. It barely had an international release. It only made $16,000 internationally, but domestically is where it made a bulk of its money at nearly $109 million.
That's insane.
That's a great ROI.
That is a very, very good box office number for especially for 1975. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People actually went to the movies. We had a lull, and then now people are going back to the movies again, but they're definitely like that changeover from the aughts to the teens.
Yeah.
There was like a bit of a lull in terms of movie attendance, but I think that's largely being fixed by these like especially
gigantic movies that are coming out now.
Huge movies.
Marvel has done a lot.
And then a lot of just nostalgia bait. Like it's between those two things.
Yeah.
People are getting their butts in the theaters for a lot of things. Yeah. But this movie had some interesting statistics.
Yeah.
It's the number 2 movie in 1975. Kind of
really?
You have to think like that's for this kind of movie.
That's before. Did that come out the same year as Jaws? What year did Jaws was like 76 or 7? This was before Star Wars.
Oh, for
which
sure.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because Star Wars was 77.
Because that was the first movie.
Yeah, basically, right? That was the first of the big summer blockbusters.
Jaws was the number 1 movie that year.
Okay, I thought so. Jaws is known for being the summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
And that was the standard for the long time. That's why all these big movies come out in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now my internet's deciding that it doesn't want to load the page, so that's very cool. Okay. So the one I want to quiz you about is drama movies. This is the 71st in all dramas.
Dramas.
So let's talk about dramas. What do you think could be up there?
So here's the problem with drama, is that there are a lot of
nebulous.
movies. It's so nebulous, and there are so many movies that I wouldn't think are labeled as drama that are.
Okay.
I am going to spitball here. I'm going to say Boogie Nights is probably up in there somewhere.
Interesting. I can't search it because I'm not on my laptop. I'm not seeing it. What about the adjusted for inflation highest grossing movie of all time? That's a pretty safe guess.
Is it? Wait, it's in 75?
No, this is any drama, any year.
God, man.
Adjusted for inflation, this movie made more money than any other movie by a long shot.
Is it Gone with the Wind?
It is Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, I thought so. I know that's pretty much the highest grossing movie of all time.
Yeah.
Technically it is.
Yeah.
The amount of that's
it would have been like a $7 billion movie in now dollars.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
Can we just talk about a $7 billion movie? That would never happen nowadays.
No.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's everyone in the world saw it.
Is that literally a $7 billion movie?
That's how much it made, yeah. Adjusted for inflation.
Holy shit, dude.
I'm pretty sure Gone with the Wind.
What year did that come out? 65?
Oh my god.
Maybe 64?
I've highlighted everything on this webpage.
I think it was 64 or something like that. I could be totally
Gone
wrong.
with the Wind was 39.
Jesus Christ, I was wrong.
Yeah, that's why
that was the golden age for movies, though.
Yeah.
So that's when people actually were going to the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then there was another resurgence in the 70s with Jaws, and very interesting. And then all through the 80s, and then the 90s movies started to suck for 15 years. And then
mid-2000s, they had some hits.
Yeah, yeah. All I remember from the early 2000s is bad romantic comedies or comedy dramas.
Yeah, dramedies were really popular.
Yeah,
especially
so
teen
many
dramedies.
Yeah, and all these crazy actors that you would consider prolific nowadays were doing these terrible dramedies, and I'm trying to think of some Matthew McConaughey was in a whole bunch of movies like that. I don't know if he's necessarily prolific, but he's well known. But he did some bad romantic. Ryan Reynolds did some bad romantic comedies.
I actually saw him in Amityville Horror, the newer one.
Oh yeah, that was You did watch that.
Yeah, like-
that was on the other day.
Yeah, and he is for some reason in like Deadpool shape.
Yeah, he's always been in really good shape. Man.
Yeah, but it's really weird that he has like shirtless superhero scenes in this movie about like how he goes crazy and tries to kill his family.
Very cool. Very nice.
At least he's hot. Like, come on, guys. Like,
This is a hard year to do quizzes on. I feel like Jaws is the big one that you got to know from 1975.
It's any year, any drama.
Oh, okay.
Any
You got to
year.
give me some hints
Okay,
then. Let's
okay.
go down. Let's not
There-
do 71 down.
Okay.
Let's do the top like 4.
I'm gonna hit the ones I know. How about
Okay.
that?
Yeah, let's do that.
So at 59, this movie there's a statue of the main character in Philadelphia.
Oh my God, it's Rocky 3.
No, it's just Rocky.
Oh, it's just Rocky?
Yeah.
Well, so, funny story about that. We were talking about this because we were walking the trails like bad quarantine people.
Yeah.
We had to get out of the house. It just had to happen. But we were walking the trails in Austin, and there was a statue of Stevie Ray Vaughan that was along one of the trails. It's really cool. You know, he's got his guitar and the whole nine. And we started discussing...
He only had one guitar. He didn't have 9.
Come on. and we started discussing the Rocky statue that's in
Yeah.
Philadelphia and how Stevie Ray Vaughan was a real person, unlike Rocky Balboa, and that there's a statue of a fictional character in Philadelphia.
All right. To be fair, Avery brought this up as if Stevie Ray Vaughan wasn't a real guy. He's like, ugh, it's like the Rocky statue in Philly, and I'm like, wait, what?
I didn't say it like that. I didn't phrase it like that.
I don't know how you phrase things.
I said it's something like, at least he's a real guy, unlike Rocky Balboa. There's a statue of him in Philadelphia, and I did a little bit of research on this because I always knew that the Rocky statue was in Philly, but I never thought why would that be there? That's so stupid. Until I was like older and had actually seen Rocky and like movies like that, and I did a little research into it, and Sylvester Stallone himself funded the statue to be built as promotion for Rocky 3, which just makes it cheesy and so dumb.
But people love it. It's a great tourist hotspot.
It's kind of cool. It's like a weird, stupid thing to have in your city. So like, why not?
At least it's not like Tom Hanks with AIDS in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like a statue of him, like emaciated. Okay, so this movie is kind of like how we're always on a TV show and their cameras recording us at all times.
Oh, is it the Truman Show?
The Truman Show is number 48.
Oh, so you just said that like it's a fact, and that's actually true.
Cut. This movie's about a guy who ages the opposite way that I do.
Benjamin Button.
Benjamin
The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Yeah. Famous movie, Horse's Head in a Bed.
Oh my God, I don't know what this is.
The Godfather.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, whatever.
Clint Eastwood, once his voice had just become fully gravel, and there's a car, and he's like a war veteran.
Is it Gran Torino?
It's Gran Torino number.
I've never seen that one.
It's pretty good, actually.
I've heard people like it.
Yeah, it's pretty good, but also kind of making pottery with undead people.
Oh my God, it's Ghost.
Ghost is number 11.
I know more of these than I thought I did. Just from making fun of them. I haven't seen a lot of these, to be honest.
Lots of ways to make shrimp.
What?
Lots of ways to make shrimp.
On the Barbie?
Do you think that's the name of a movie?
I have no idea.
I think that was a great
Crocodile Dundee, huh?
Forrest Gump.
Oh. I guess I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I don't remember that.
There's the guy Bubba who's like explaining all the different ways you can make shrimp because his family owns a shrimping company. Then they open Bubba Gump Shrimp, which then becomes a place that tourists go to in Times Square.
Very cool.
Very cool. All of the movies about this love triangle, but it's creepy and lots of abs and lots of sparkling and.
This is Magic Mike.
No, there are 4 of them that are in the top
Jesus.
10.
Oh my God, it's Twilight.
It's Twilight.
They call that a drama? I guess it kind of is.
Yeah.
It's like a teen drama, though.
The ultimate drama.
It's not like real problems. It's like teen problems.
This is the ultimate drama, the drama about our Lord and Savior.
It's the Passion of the Christ.
And the number 1 of all time is about a boy who finds a friend from very far away.
Harry Potter.
Steven Spielberg.
He finds it's E.T.
E.T. is
They
the
call
number-
that a drama? That's really interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting because I would say it's not
like a
quite
science
sci-fi.
fantasy.
Yeah, it's like
it's not sci-fi.
No, it's definitely not sci-fi. That's the number one drama of all time. It made like 460 something million
in the
domestically.
80s.
Yeah, in the 80s.
Jesus, so
Good
that's a pretty big movie.
Pretty huge movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I knew E.T. made a ton. The movie's adorable though.
oh, it's a great movie.
Yeah, it's actually good.
Yeah, absolutely. But 71st of all time for dramas. This definitely was a drama.
Yeah, hard drama.
There's a little bit of a dramedy, a little black comedy in there.
It had some dark comedy, but it had some like very lighthearted moments.
Yeah.
This movie was a
of
roller
screaming.
coaster ride. Yeah, a lot of screaming or screaming. Yeah, it was a roller coaster ride of emotions.
Oh, for sure.
if you will. Yeah, it was pleasant.
Yeah.
It had a lot of good stuff going for it. Should we talk about some pros?
Let's talk about some pros.
Let's do it. I'm just gonna start off. I want to get the ball rolling here. Jack fucking Nicholson is so good.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
There was that one moment where he said, once we get to Canada, and then he just kind of looks around and like you're watching
And they
him.
do that awkward zoom.
Yeah, he's like thinking, and he doesn't say anything for maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And at first I'm like, this is weird, but then after a while I'm
because
like,
he's grown a conscience and
I'm
he has
like,
to stay.
this is great.
Yeah.
He's so captivating every moment
Yeah.
that he's on screen. He's like, his personality's way bigger than himself, and he's really amazing. This is definitely one of his top movies.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah.
This is like the one. This and The Shining, I feel like, are the two that he's like really known for.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. I liked that scene a lot too. It seemed like something where in rehearsal they were gonna cut before that, but then like his reaction to what he was saying just went on for so long because you could see the DP zoom in and then they zoom in like again and they get really up on him because like he's just exuding emotion.
Yeah.
Just like it's just coming out of him. And it was like so good. And it seemed like almost like an outtake that they decided to leave in because it worked that well and conveyed exactly what he was thinking. You could see him like gathering a conscience and realizing that he actually feels for the crazy people in the crazy people hut.
Although I'm not, it's so unclear whether or not he just got drunk and fell asleep, or if he meant to stay there.
Yeah, or if he just like it seemed like a little bit of both, and he like is realizing like I can't leave, and then probably like got caught in his own thoughts and fell asleep because he was probably drunk.
Yeah, and so he's super captivating the whole movie. I have really no complaints because he is. The character feels like he's from Boston. Like
he's kind of an asshole, but he's very ostentatious and belligerent.
Yeah, but then he also does like the dead, like when he gets, spoiler alert, he gets lobotomized and he's like so dead in the face. He's so good at that.
He just
very believable, very sad.
So good.
Everything he does is like, and all of his line delivery. I was reading about this movie a little bit, and apparently no one was allowed to see any of the footage except for Jack Nicholson because he was feeling like he was like getting discouraged. He thought he was doing a bad job.
Whoa.
And then he was shown like a couple scenes and then they just gave it, and then he was fine and they filmed the rest of the movie. So all these people who were in it didn't actually see the film as it was being filmed.
Interesting.
Yeah. They didn't see their takes. Amazing cast.
Yeah.
We got
incredible.
Yeah, we got Danny DeVito in like a really serious role, and I almost can't think of anything.
He's just like kind of a goofy guy. He just smiles the whole time.
Yeah. And like when he says,
It's a very serious movie.
Yeah.
And he's so young.
Oh my
God. Like so wild. He looks like a different person.
Oh yeah.
He looks like Super Mario or someone.
Cast it, Hollywood. Let's do it. I will direct. Avery will do sound. Or Avery will direct and I will pretend I direct. You have your choices, Hollywood. He was amazing. What's his face? Doc Brown, who's in it.
Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd.
He did that and then like Back to the Future. And he's done so much stuff, but I think he just takes a lot of roles because he does some pretty crappy movies nowadays.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Isn't he dead?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he's still alive.
Pretty sure Christopher Lloyd's dead.
Wait, maybe it's not Christopher Lloyd. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong name. The guy who played Doc Brown.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Christopher Lloyd. Find out.
All right. The internet is the slowest thing on the earth.
Christopher Lloyd. I think Christopher Lloyd might have been Saruman. He's still alive. I told you. He's just old. He's not dead. He's definitely still alive. But he does like voice work now.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. So
hey, I'm the Joker.
Yeah, so he did some like not so awesome movies voice work.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sweet. Was he in Romeo and Juliet?
No, it was
Sherlock
called
Gnome.
like, I watched this guy on YouTube called I Hate Everything. He has the series of The Search for the Worst, and he was voicing like all these really weird parts, and he was in this one, oh man, I wish I could. I'll find out what it is and I'll let you know.
Okay.
But he did some like really bizarre shit. So
cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All
very
that time
cool.
traveling messed with his brain.
Guess so, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another really good thing about this movie, I think, was the like how complicated it makes you feel about these institutions. Because obviously we miss them in terms of like our social practices, and it takes place in a time where mental health they didn't know anything. It wasn't the most popular fucking degree in the world to get a psych degree, you know?
This movie takes place in 1963. And it's like the beliefs that they had at the time of what could cure mental illness were insanity.
Yeah.
Like,
even just like how they did therapy. Like not helpful.
Like torture. And you see it a little bit at first with Nurse Ratched, and how instead of like assisting these people in expressing their feelings constructively, she belittles them and manipulates them into feeling worse about themselves.
Because she's a dominatrix.
Yeah, because she's an evil person.
Yeah, she's like a bad lady. And she's such a good villain too, because she's
she is. Subtle
a little
villain,
bit subtle,
Yeah. And it's really interesting to see that, because they don't give her a moment of like, you don't
humanity.
You don't sympathize with her at all throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting, because I thought that they might give her like, you know, they might try to like play to your emotions to be like, yeah, maybe she's a horrible person, but this is also what she went through. Nope, they just doubled down on how evil these mental health institutions were, and I thought that was badass.
Yeah, so that was kind of the interesting. Like, I was struggling with that a lot, and then we were also like having a discussion like, why would you be voluntarily in one of these places?
Yeah, which I think we talked about it a little bit, and one thing that we haven't discussed it on the show yet, but Ronald Reagan defunded mental health institutions in the 80s. And,
fun fact.
And people who would be voluntarily there are people who nowadays might be living on the street.
Yeah.
And it's very sad. Like, we don't need to get into that whole thing. But like, but it's like, we figured that that's probably what it is. People who otherwise don't feel comfortable taking care of themselves.
Yeah, and then also like when you look at like addiction, like if you are lucky enough to be able to afford rehab, you have to voluntarily go. Yeah, you can't go against your will.
So it's a similar kind of situation.
And like addiction's like a mental illness, so like that would probably fall under the moniker. Yeah, but it was just kind of interesting how it tore me in a lot of ways about like because you empathize with the fact like this place is fucking horrible, but then we also nowadays, now that they've been defunded, because this movie did come out before that, the book came out before that, they didn't realize like how and so like I was personally having a little bit of a struggle there, but I thought that made it good, because it's like for sure, this is evil, but then also a lot of medicine was like terrible in the 60s.
It just wasn't. They just didn't know. They just didn't know.
Yeah,
and I think it's I don't know. It's really interesting, and I think this kind of plays into one of the biggest strengths, I think, for the movie. We discussed this a little right after the screening. How well they foreshadow that. Oh my God, I'm like, what?
He goes by Chief in the movie.
Not Chief, but fucking Jack Nicholson. What the hell
was McMurphy.
McMurphy. I wanted to say McCavity. I'm thinking of Cats. See what you did? No, stop. Don't. But they foreshadow McMurphy's eventual lobotomy really well, because they start talking about how I think Chief tells him like they're doing the same thing they did to you that they were gonna do to this other guy. They led him down the path, or like they're taking care of him. He said something like that. And you see like at first he's given medicine and then he's still violent and he's not taking the medicine, so then they give him electroshock therapy, right? And that's kind of like getting that in your brain, like, oh, maybe there might be some more unsavory practices, and he's still violent after the electroshock therapy. And then at the end of the movie, they lobotomize him, kind of like, because it's already in your head, like, oh, people did that back then. Yeah. And it gets to that point, and it's heartbreaking. Yeah. Because you start to actually like unlike Nurse Ratched, he actually has an arc throughout the movie.
Yeah.
You know, like he starts and he has so much disdain for this place and these people, but he starts to like get to know them and, you know.
Yeah. And like he has a level of respect for them, and it's interesting because in the beginning of the movie, he's pretending like he's insane to get out of jail time. Yeah. That's basically what he's doing. And when you juxtapose people who are, you know, in an institution with someone who's not crazy, the person who's not crazy seems crazy.
Yeah.
He seemed like the most insane person there.
Yeah.
And that was really interesting. But once he started to see their humanity, they were more of like a cohesive unit than like anything else. And they were friends, and then it was more normalized. It's very interesting how like mental illness is like an othering thing.
Yeah.
Like obviously there are serious cases of mental illness that like require help, and like but like sometimes it's just a level of othering.
Yeah, especially at a time when mental illness wasn't understood as well.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely highlighted really well here.
Just how Nurse Ratched handles Billy, like
so
that's
sad.
That's not how you handle someone with like clearly depression.
Yeah,
who you bring up has had suicide attempts before.
Yeah.
And then like
in front of everyone he knows.
Everyone he knows, and like threatens to tell his mom that he slept with someone, which I guess is taboo then.
Yeah. It's wild. It's like I kept waiting during the Billy scene. So for a little bit of context, they throw a party. They get Mr. Turkle, I think his name was.
Yeah.
Or just
Scatman
Turkle.
Carruthers.
Scatman Carruthers. They they bribe him to like let these girls in who bring all this booze, and then the other patients find out. Everyone starts drinking. They have a party. It's fun.
Yeah.
Like they have a fun night. And it's great. That's one of the very, very high moments in the movie.
Yeah.
Which is because this movie is just up and down like that. Yeah. And so they have this wild party. Everyone passes out drunk. And then the next morning, they get Billy to sleep with the one girl, which is
Candy.
One of the less well-aged things. But
yeah,
we can talk about that a little bit later. But he sleeps with Candy, and then the next morning, Nurse Ratched comes in, finds everything out, belittles and embarrasses Billy in front of everybody after they're all like clapping for him and stuff.
Yeah, he's like proud of himself. He feels good about himself.
Yeah,
like
he isn't stuttering as much.
Yeah.
Like I noticed that immediately.
And then once she turns the tables on him,
his stutter comes back so hard. And then he's taken to another room because Nurse Ratched says she's going to tell his mother, and that his mother.
It's kind of inferred that he's underage, but it's never made clear.
Yeah, it's never really made clear. And that his mother is a good friend of Nurse Ratched's, which I think is a fucking lie. I think she just lied about that.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Nurse Ratched's a character that would have manipulated the mother because he has a stutter into like bringing him in. You know, it's like, oh, like we're friends. Like I'll take care of him. Yeah. But she has a power fetish. So
very clearly. Yeah. And Billy kills himself with it's like a shard of glass or something it looks like. And my goodness, it's just like, I talked about the roller coaster ride of a movie. Everyone's having a blast the night before, and it just tanks.
Oh man,
so quick. And I kept expecting there to be redemption for Billy.
Yeah,
because I'm thinking that it's that kind of story.
Yeah, because he seemed like almost like a second main character.
Yeah,
in a way that like Chief ended up being at the end, where he's the one who gets out.
Chief.
Respect, Chief.
Yeah,
a beast in the low post. Yeah, I mean, his story is super tragic, and I think that's like the moment where like it's very clear that Jack Nicholson's not faking being friends with these people, or he's not pitying them. He just fucking tried to kill Nurse Ratched, which is, I think, like a very wild human thing, though, where it's like, yeah, you clearly like upset him to an extent that he
snapped.
Yeah,
because he cared for Billy. He cares for these people. Yeah. And that's McMurphy's arc.
Yeah, and his whole thing is he gets to a point where it's like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
But now he's just trying to pull whoever with him when he leaves. He's like, yeah, Billy, like, you want to go? Let's go. He's like, I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
Could have saved his life.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the really, and I think that it's not just Nurse Ratched kind of prodding him into that, but Jack Nicholson knows that like they almost got out together and that wouldn't have happened. Yeah. And he is so upset, and he's just taking it
because Nurse Ratched pushed him to killing himself.
Yeah. And so it's like it's this huge confluence of things. This is really amazing.
Yeah.
Other great the fishing scene I think is great.
No,
like
it's so goofy. I felt like I was watching like a National Lampoon movie or something.
Oh yeah,
it was like basically slapstick humor. It was adorable.
Oh, it was adorable. And like, dude, Danny DeVito played his character so perfectly.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he got enough love for that character, but it was fucking great. Yeah. Amazing.
My favorite part is when like, because they're all kind of like McMurphy gradually gets the other patients to ally against Nurse Ratched. And one thing is that they get caught gambling with the cigarettes. Mm-hmm. So she takes their cigarettes. Yeah. Which is just like, and they're all pissed about it, especially, is it Chesingway?
Cheswick?
Cheswick, yeah, him. Yeah. I think that's his name. They called him Ches.
Ernest Chesingway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That sounds right.
Yeah. No, there's Ernest Chesingway. He...
And he gets very upset. And so they take their cigarettes, and Nurse Ratched is just like, well, we found out that McMurphy has won all of your cigarettes while you guys were gambling, and so we confiscated your cigarettes. Yeah. And that's what's going to happen. And then Danny DeVito's character says, how are we going to win them back? It's like the best line. It's so good. It's like we have to gamble to get them back.
Come on, you idiot. And just some of the stuff he does, like when he like snaps the cigarette in two and tries to use it to...
Oh, that's so cute, though. That's like when they're becoming friends. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much. I mean, there's just a lot of like really high like points that make you smile. Mm. And I think that's really good. And it really punctuates like these really dark moments that end up coming along. And like, you know, it's interesting. That scene where McMurphy strangles Nurse Ratched that's some of the most intense shit. It was like
crazy.
So real.
Yeah. It was really real. And like, you know, there are a couple really good, like when him and Chief fight off like the multiple orderlies when Cheswick's freaking out about those cigarettes.
You're like, hell yeah.
Yeah. The movie's so claustrophobic because you feel like you're mostly in that one room.
It was probably mostly shot in that one room.
Yeah, at the Oregon State Hospital. This is filmed mostly in Salem, Oregon, and some nearby seaside villages.
When they go to like the boat area, they confiscate the boat, which was cool. I like the entire time I was thinking them. They got onto the boat, like. I was thinking, like, how have they gotten this far? Yeah. And then it kept going. Like, was that Jack Nicholson's plan or McMurphy's plan? Like, was he like, I'm going to get them all on the bus. We're going to go all the way, steal a boat. Not charter a boat, steal a boat. And then we're going on a fishing trip so I can bang Candy on the boat. Yeah. And was that his plan? I couldn't figure it out.
This was all preparation for him playing the Joker, a man without a plan.
It was so funny. It was just like, none of this was telegraphed. It all comes out of nowhere.
This is actually the Joker's origin story.
Oh my God, whatever. But man, this movie just has so much strength to it behind those really high points when you're like having fun with the characters. Mm-hmm. You feel like you're involved. And another thing that I really liked was how it's kind of alluded to that Jack Nicholson is pretending to be crazy. Mm-hmm. You know, some of the psychologists are saying like, we think you're faking it and all this stuff, which is like the most unhealthy thing to say to someone who's mentally ill. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, that's just totally
you
not
don't
good.
say you're faking it. That's like super terrible.
Yeah, that's a horrible thing to say to someone, especially if they feel that they're mentally ill.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know, but he's clearly a violent, aggressive person.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to tell. You kind of think like, you know what, there's definitely something wrong with him. Yeah. But is he faking it?
Yeah.
You know? So
and like, what's the definition there? And yeah, no, I like that it's kind of nebulous, and you kind of aren't sure the entire movie.
Yeah, which is cool. So it kind of like, I don't want to say unreliable narrator, because that's not really what's going on here.
Because I wouldn't say he's the narrator. I think that he is definitely a central character, but I think this is a total ensemble movie.
For sure.
Like there are at least...
Or it becomes an ensemble movie.
It becomes an ensemble movie. He's your first POV character. Yeah. Because they frame it as he's faking it, but as you go through the movie, and you see like, well, not only does he kind of fit in with these people, but all the things that like they're saying, like, no sane person would do this. Yeah. Fucking it's around totally in a mental ward that much is a little unhinged.
Like they're unstable. Yeah. That is an unstable person.
Maybe he's got fucking bipolar or something. Yeah. Like some kind of mania based
something thing. That honestly like
or borderline personality disorder.
Something like that mental health care people probably had no knowledge of, had no interest in treating properly, and so they tried to shock him, and then they lobotomized him.
Yeah.
Which is very sad, because that kind of thing really happened.
Yep.
So...
At least it wasn't an ice pick lobotomy. That was one big...
that's so graphic. That happened in Grave Encounters.
Yeah.
That's
real gross.
Yeah.
It's also not very accurate. You're just going through the nose and you're hoping you hit the right place.
Yeah, it's it baffles me that even as recently as you said, the last one was done in like the 1980s.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was in America though.
Okay, it's probably like Russia or something. That seems like
or it could be like a lot of different countries. Could happen in Southeast Asia. There'd be a lot of, and I'm sure more lobotomies have been performed, but I'm pretty sure they're generally illegal.
Yeah, like I don't think anybody really
for
does
like
that.
Non-essential medical reasons.
Yeah.
Like a lobotomy, like removing part of the brain can be helpful if you have like a tumor or something.
Exactly.
But I mean, definitely I don't know when ice pick lobotomy stopped.
Yeah, because that's insane. That's so brutalistic.
Yeah,
it's like how could anybody sign off on that as a legitimate medical procedure? And it really made me wonder about that. It's like that's completely insane.
I love it. I think it's great. It helps the people and it looks cool.
You heard it here, folks. The first pro lobotomy podcast. No, that's a Ridiculous platform for sure.
My new character, as it were, is a
Ridiculous 2020.
Yeah, Ridiculous is running for Senate, state Senate.
Yeah.
In the state of Texas. Vote and Ridiculous.
He's pro asbestos. Bring asbestos back is his slogan for campaign.
He thinks evolution's being taught because teachers are all dinosaurs themselves.
Bring asbestos back. Ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. He's like Rick Perry, but more ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Ridiculous. And his brother, Dick Riculous. Half brother, different last name, obviously. Very crazy that
coincidental,
though. Yeah, the mom had some choices that she made that weren't great. She's 96 and she still owns slaves.
Oh my god!
They're not black though.
Oh my god!
They're Irish.
Oh my god, dude!
But you can't own an Irishman anymore.
No,
what happened to this country?
No. So, all right, let's get past that. Let's start dipping into some con territory, because I think we both have some vague idea what the cons are for this movie, but they're not like heavy.
No, they're like certain like one of mine is just like the music at the end is like here generic Native American music because Chief is having an arc. Very cool, very modern.
It's so like.
It's just like
you feel so proud for Chief in the moment.
Yeah, you like hear like horses galloping in the background.
Yeah,
like what the fuck?
There's like a
like
kind of pan pipes or something. It's like the drum like it's so like you can tell either like it was intentionally trying to be ostentatious or like stand out too much in that way, or it's just like a tone deaf, just like racism.
Just the fucking 70s, dude. That was like really like things.
We were like, what? Like,
yeah, we were
like
just
goofy.
Like watching and enjoying it. I just turned to Avery and was like, this is like super racist. Right? He's like, yeah.
So yeah, there was that. Chief. Other than that.
Great character. Dude. Yeah, great character.
He was as big as a mountain, and he picked up the heavy thing and then threw it out the window. Yeah. Which it wasn't very clear what that thing was.
It was a sink. It was like
it wasn't a sink, man.
It was like a foot washing station in the showers or something.
Who puts their feet that high up to wash their
feet? Danny DeVito. He's very flexible.
so I couldn't tell what that thing. It had like a hose and it had all these other nozzles on it.
Imagine Danny DeVito doing the splits. Maybe that's where all the shower heads congregated and then they pulled them out and showered like that.
Maybe. But also it was totally off center. It was in like one corner of the shower. Like I could not figure out what the fuck that thing was.
Yeah.
It was like a sink of some kind, but it wasn't like a sink. And it probably has a name.
Yeah.
And it's probably only used in Europe now.
The obelisk.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
It's actually a bidet.
It's just a bidet. Yeah. But, yeah.
You threw the bidet out the window.
So, what else? What were we talking about with cons? Oh, the whole thing with Billy having sex with Candy and how Candy was just kind of like going along with it and like wasn't a character at all in any capacity.
there weren't like female characters. There was like Nurse Ratched who was a character trait, but this movie didn't have like actual female characters.
Nurse Ratched, like, even though there's like an implication of there being a backstory as to why she's so horrible, it never gets beyond speculation.
Yeah.
And they never say anything why she has this ridiculous power fetish or whatever it is, and why she's a horrible person. And that's like, they didn't give her any sympathy, like we said earlier. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
They didn't explain like, oh, she has a terrible life and her husband hits her or anything.
Yeah.
You know, like nothing like that. And which could have like maybe turned the tables and like.
Yeah,
I'm glad they didn't give her any sympathy though. She was
I would have rather they give
like
like Candy more of a character.
Yeah, she was such an accessory to the story though.
Yeah, she was just a pure sex object the entire movie.
Like, which is like, we were both like, this aged poorly, didn't it?
Yeah, it did age pretty poorly.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird because like, that was just like the really glaring thing is like, Nurse Ratched I think was done perfectly, but it needed to be balanced out with like a human female, not like
or something like that.
Like, you know, and so like that scene in particular is when it gets real odd. Like I remember them sleeping together my first time watching it, but I didn't remember it being that. I thought that she just wanted to do it. Yeah. Which is
it kind of seemed like she did. Or, like early in the movie, they're like flirting together and stuff. Yeah. But it seemed like she was just going along with whatever McMurphy told her to do.
Yeah, McMurphy's a freaking cuck, dude.
No, he definitely wasn't. But it's so that was a little odd to the both of us. But
yeah.
But hey, that's what happens, I guess, in a 70s movie.
I guess.
Women are just sex objects.
The other really weird part was McMurphy describing statutory in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, oh my god, we were both like, yikes, that's real gross.
And like the other guy's like, yeah, I get it. Like,
yeah, he's like totally kind of on board with it.
He's like justifying fucking having sex with a 15-year-old.
Yeah, that was not okay.
And he like tries to play it off where it's like, and she told me she was 18, and then he's like, but if you saw the like, he described it really good. He was like, that red beaver, or like,
yeah, he said something like that.
I'm just like,
saw that red beaver.
Is that hot?
Yeah, it was very weird.
Sounds like she has an issue.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. That was definitely weird.
It shouldn't be red.
Was that like I don't know. I don't even want to continue with this line of thought, but yeah. So
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So that was gross. It was really just stuff like that was like either culturally insensitive or just kind of like. Sexually tone deaf, if that makes sense, and those were the only really things.
Yeah, like Scatman Crothers had like some moments like that where
he was just like, she's bringing more than the booze or something like that.
Yeah, he was like, hey, like I'll let her in if I can have sex with her.
Yeah, basically, and they never show that happening.
Yeah,
which is good because I think that would have been a pretty gross scene to add in. Yeah. I wonder if they filmed that and then they were like,
Scatman Crothers is like, he always looks old. Like he always looks pretty old.
It's the way his like neck sticks out.
Yeah.
He's got like that neck where his shoulders back here.
Yeah.
I don't know what
his head's hanging real low.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's always doing that like, I don't know. Yeah, he's always looking like that.
He's always looking like the turtle character from Master of Disguise.
Well, that's why they called him Turkle.
Oh. Professor Turkle.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
So,
do you remember that movie, Master of Disguise?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Amazing.
I think it's like the lowest rated movie of all time or something.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's like a 0% somehow.
I think that's completely possible.
That
just means everyone didn't like it.
Yeah, and that movie like reminds me of. I think it came out like the same time as Mystery Men, so I always kind of put the two movies together.
Yeah,
there had to
be a year difference.
Yeah, there has to be some production crossover.
Yeah, but you know who does love that movie?
Who?
Rick Dickulus. He's on a platform of Make That. You have to teach Master of Disguise in the schools.
Master of Disguise is crucial.
It's part of American history.
Dana Carvey. Yeah. What happened to Dana Carvey? Did that ruin his career?
No, he converged with Edward Norton, and now they're the same guy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Per Alita Battle Angel, when I fully thought that it was Dana Carvey as the bad guy at the end of it, and like you were like, no, dude, that was Edward Norton. I was like, well, what?
They really don't even look that similar. I'm sorry.
How dare you?
I can't side with you on this one. There's nothing.
Don't undermine me.
I'm sorry. They're quite different.
Yeah. So in terms of like cons, you know, there's definitely like just time different stuff, but I think that pretty consistently this movie is good, and for a movie from the 70s to like still mostly hold up, especially, yeah.
I think like it's hard to just be like, they didn't know what they were saying, so it gets a pass.
Yeah.
But that's really the situation here.
Yeah,
They had no idea how insensitive that would be viewed, 40 years later.
Oh, yeah. I have no idea how society was going to progress.
Yeah.
And closer to 50.
Yeah, 45 years. Almost exactly 45 years, right?
Yeah, 45 years from today.
No, maybe not. I wonder how this movie will be viewed 45 years from today. 90 years after it comes out.
Digitally, probably still.
Yeah, I mean, probably nobody will even see it at that point, right? Like, that'll be too old.
It'll be taught in film classes.
Think about, probably. Think about movies that came out 90 years ago. Like, I don't watch anything like that. Have you seen anything? That's like Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
It's 80 years old.
Is Sound of Music? When's that from?
That's a good point. Oh, Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
That's still, but I mean, like, that is absolute top tier. Those
Yeah.
are like the best ones ever.
Yeah.
So like all the other, like the fluff, the stuff that wasn't as good is just gonna fade into obscurity.
What about the one where they shot the moon in the eye?
Oh, is that the first man in the moon?
Or something like
Is
that.
it something like that? Or is that the Buck Rogers or whatever? What was Buck Rogers? I don't know what I'm talking about, man.
I think Buck Rogers is
The Flash Gordon. That's what I'm thinking of.
No, the Flash is a superhero.
Oh my god, what am I thinking?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, really cool that this movie still holds up. It's definitely. Is it the oldest movie that we've reviewed?
No, 2001.
2001. Yeah.
That was 69 or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, or maybe it was 68.
Yeah, less nice. Yeah, so this is definitely one of the older movies we've watched, and it's definitely different because it is a plot-driven movie compared to 2001, which is an audio-visual experience.
Very much so. There was so much more plot. There was so much more going on. Although for a little bit at the beginning of the movie, I did think, like, this is just, like... I could tell, like, before I confirmed it with you, I kind of could figure out that it was based on a book.
Yeah.
Just the way it's, like, laid out and the way, like, the scenes are interlocking. It was very clearly, like... And then in this chapter, this happened. It almost felt episodic at first, you know?
Yeah, it did kind of feel episodic, but then it started to kind of run together.
It all converged at the end.
Well, it kind of helps that, like, most of the time, like, they had the excursion to the fishing boat, but, like, a lot of it is scene by scene in, like, certain rooms that have been set up for you already.
Yeah,
and then it just kind of flowed a little better. Also, we'd been watching a lot of found footage.
Which is paced, like, just... Like, it's just like, whoop. Found footage is just like... The ramp is just like 0 and then up to 60.
Yeah.
Whereas this was like, this went 0 to 35 and then down to 15 and then up to 60.
It was,
and then,
it was city driving.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was all
Whereas, found footage is sitting in traffic and then you get to go.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like basically you find the movie and then you're waiting for it to load.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then all the characters are just like, it's just already laid out in front of you.
Yeah.
And then you already know what's going to happen. So, but yeah, man, that's true.
Yeah.
This movie was really, really good.
Really good.
And I couldn't believe I hadn't seen it before.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm glad we got to see it.
Yeah.
Since we have seen it, we've talked about it. It's time for us to get to our rating section. We say 5 words about this movie.
Nice.
We give it a rating out of 10 and whether or not we'd recommend it to people who haven't seen it, in your case, or people who've already seen it but haven't seen it in a while, in my case.
Oh, yeah.
So, 5 words.
Yeah, you go first because I need to think of mine too.
God damn it, McMurphy. You're
That's
perfect. No, this movie's great. I don't know what 5 words to describe this movie because it is a lot of things. It is one of the better ensemble cast movies, and definitely a movie from this era that shouldn't be skipped.
Yeah.
You do have to pay attention and like get yourself invested in it. And I know right now, like, we've been super multimedia.
Yeah. This is a good one to absorb.
Yeah, so we took a break from everything and we just kind of dialed back and watched the movie. And that was really great.
This is the way to do it.
Yeah, this movie is a 10 out of 10. It's got its problems, sure. It's mostly due to age. But I think as like a filmmaking and storytelling mechanism, it did a really good job. Go ahead and see it again if you haven't seen it in a while.
Hell yeah. Well done. I agree completely. My words are couldn't believe I hadn't seen because I can't believe I haven't seen this before.
Yeah.
It was like 2001: A Space Odyssey. It was like I was like, why hadn't I seen this? Like, and I'm just really beginning to learn again how awesome Jack Nicholson actually is. He's so good. And so the excellent performance. from everybody involved. I mean, this movie it's like so it fills you with joy, and you feel like you know these characters, and then something terrible happens, and you experience with them at the same time, and it's just an absolute roller coaster emotionally, which is what a movie should do.
Yeah,
it should pull you along with it. The plot really it takes a little bit for me, it took a little bit for me to get invested, but by the time I did, by the end of the first act, I was like, okay, I'm in this.
We're here.
Yeah, and like I started really enjoying it once, like, you know, they're starting to go do all this goofy shit, and like it's just like kind of funny. They steal a boat and like all this crazy stuff, and then bad stuff happens. And it gets really good, and then bad stuff happens, and this was a remarkable movie.
Yeah,
I'm glad I saw it.
I wasn't sure you'd get invested, but when I heard you go, oh my god, when he brought Candy out of like the trailer park, I was like, oh, he's in it. He's right here.
Yeah, that was when I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is great. So let's see. If I had to give this a rating out of 10, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. And while I do think structurally and plot wise and acting performances, all of that absolutely top notch, it's great. I can't totally forgive the like dehumanization of women that happens in this movie.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I can't. It's just like, you could say like, it's a product of their time, which we've both kind of tried to do, but that's kind of making excuses for something that we know better for. And so I think for that reason, I just have to take it down.
Yeah, I don't think that it, like, products of their time should remove this kind of movie from movie history, because it is really a standout. So it's like, while that does diminish it,
it's still an excellent movie.
Yeah, it's still a part of movie history that you should be familiar with. And
this movie is barely about people's sexuality, so it kind of like, with the exception of like Billy, sort of. Yeah. It's kind of, honestly, I guess that's kind of mostly his character, but like with that exception, right? That's the only thing that I was kind of like a little about. But I mean, for everything else, like seriously, everything else gets a 10 out of 10 for sexual awareness and humanization of women. It gets a 0.
Yeah, it's like not there.
So out of all 10 categories, one of them gets a 0, which brings it down to a 9 out of 10. Just kidding. We are way more arbitrary than that. But seriously, this movie is super good. Super good. I would say if you haven't seen it, you probably should. Yeah. Unless you're looking for a female empowerment movie, then probably don't watch this.
Yeah, probably different movie.
Yeah, pick a different one. Because it's not there.
Or get an app. All right, app idea. Puts all the male characters in wigs.
Don't give away our great ideas, or your great idea here. We could sell this, man. We're gonna make $1 billion.
So. What, can I put you down for 5K?
No. Okay. So, cool. I guess that's where we're at here, huh? Yeah. Thanks for sticking around, guys. We got a whole bunch of bullshit for the rest of the month. We got a whole bunch of crap.
We got Tammy and the T-Rex.
Oh, yeah. I really regret.
Yeah. You always are like, I'm going to get you. Whereas I have the steel resolve of a person that cries in their room and doesn't let you see my pain.
So, yeah, we're going to do Tammy and the T-Rex. That's next week. That's Paul Walker is in this. Briefly. Who else is in it?
Tammy.
And Tammy.
Of course.
And a T-Rex, and I think you're going to love it. There's some stupid shit in that movie that you're going to think is hilarious. Yep. Like, it's stupid production stuff that's super goofy.
Love it.
But yeah, so guys, thanks for hanging around. We'll be here next week. Again, you can find us all over Instagram, all over that stuff for The Story everywhere, For The Story Podcast. And thanks for hanging out, and we love you all so much. Goodbye.
How are we going to get our cigarettes back?